This is the first day of our proper trip, our motorbike trip in India, across the Himalayas. We are heading out today on the first leg of it. Really, we had a bit of a spin around town yesterday, and it's the most interesting place. We're staying in this nice sort of hotel behind me, yet just next door people are living under tarpaulin sort of tents over there, so it shows huge sort of diverse range of people here, and different sort of ways people are surviving. It's a fascinating place though. Behind me in this direction you can see loads of mountains and stuff. It's a bit hazy today, but you can actually see snow on the top of those. Very much looking forward to getting up there later on today and having a blast. So we're travelling about 100 kilometres today, and in the next few days we're going to be going extremely high to the highest mountain pass in the world. Very much looking forward to it, so I'm going to see if I can keep people up to date. Yeah, it's really exciting. So last night in Manali we went to a bar and got some pizzas of all things, and had some nice curry at lunchtime. We had pizzas in the afternoon, and then we had a few beers, and then we thought it was a good idea to check out the local nightlife. So we went to two nightclubs, and it was hilarious, really funny. I went to the first one, which they just marketed all over the place on billboards and flyers, and a guy kind of almost walked us down there, to try and get the business, and it was hilarious. It was very, very basic, but quite a laugh. But then we left there and went to the other nightclub, which was a much nicer venue that hadn't marketed, and there was nobody there but us. The staff outnumbered the guests. Anyway, we stayed there for a drink and then kind of rolled home. But we all seem to be fresh enough today for a good blast on the bikes. So these are the bikes we're going on, Royal Enfield Himalayans, or Himalayans as they call them. They're just a single cylinder bike, and they're just really well suited. It's about 400cc, perfectly well suited for the sort of terrain that we're going on. This is the bike I'm riding. My one's got a Michelin Man on the tank, but thankfully they're kind of knocked up enough that if we did happen to drop them, we're not going to worry too much, but I hope that's not going to happen. So we had a ride out yesterday around Manali to kind of get used to the bikes a little bit, so we kind of whizzed up out of town, and then this rain and heavy wind kicked up out of nowhere, so our guide sort of turned us around and said, all right, let's go back the other way. So we kind of did a big loop. The driving here is absolutely unbelievable. The way people drive is kind of, everybody's tooting their horn all the time. So you're passing, you toot your horn. You're nearby, you toot your horn. So the whole place is just full of people beeping all the time, and they come so close, and everybody just kind of weaves really close to one another, and everybody's pushing in and overtaking and undertaking, and oh my gosh, I thought London driving was crazy, but they really take the biscuit over here in India. In fact, our drive here was around about a 10-hour drive from the airport, yeah, we travelled about 35 hours to get here, but the drive from the airport was absolutely unreal. It was, yeah, quite hair-raising at times, just the speed at which and the ways at which people are sort of overtaking and undertaking. The driving is unbelievable. The cab drivers, though, although they're really kind of pushy, nobody seems to lose their temper. Everybody's quite good-natured about it, which is sort of interesting, really. I mean, seeing the road rage firsthand in London, it's quite, yeah, it's interesting. Just a completely different way of handling things. Yeah, everybody's so nice. Having a good time. Morning, reporting on our day 3 of the journey, which was yesterday. We travelled from Manali up to Jispa, and we've been staying at this lovely hotel, and they provided food over in that hut over there. Look at these mountains behind us. Absolutely fantastic. So our ride yesterday was on these sort of swoopy roads, these swoopy mountain roads around all these crazy corners where these enormous vehicles come whizzing by, sometimes on the wrong side of the road, so you've got to be quite careful. Whew. Wow!
Yeah, you said you wanted a fleece.
Yeah!
Got one?
Amazing! It's manageable, you know, and in the afternoon when we got here, it was about a 100-kilometre ride, and then when we got here to Jispa, we sort of went off for a bit of a spin to find some beers, and we found an off-road route which we went whizzing down and then back up again. Like my mountain biking, really, on motorbikes. So it's really great fun. But yesterday the weather was a bit rubbish. It was quite rainy and bloody cold. I wish they'd told us. We were all absolutely freezing for most of the day, and now we're up here, and again last night was so cold, no heating in the rooms. but we kind of managed, and we're ready to whiz out on a 150 kilometer trip now, going further up into the mountains. It was difficult to sleep last night. We all found it really hard to sleep, and we think it might be due to the altitude, but it's hard to say. It's becoming a real. The whole journey's been amazing, but you know, now that the whole motorbiking thing is really coming to life, it's quite clear from seeing the types of vehicles around that going by motorbike is by far the best way to see this amazing, you know, part of India, and I expect probably a lot of it, I would have thought. The roads just go from sort of tarmacked to just rocky stuff, you know, and you know, big potholes and that sort of thing. So, you know, I think a lot of other vehicles get rattled to bits, but on a motorbike you can pick a line through it, and it's kind of quite manageable. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what the day brings, and I'll report back on that later. Yesterday was day 4 on our trip, and we had the most incredible journey. I mean, we started out going higher and higher to an extremely high point. I think it's about the 4th highest point. It was really cold, but awesome. So we ended up in the snow. Passing a glacier and all sorts, and then on the way down we had the most incredible roads with these sort of switchbacks whizzing left and right, loads of fast cornering through to dusty section. And areas where the road is barely a track. It was absolutely incredible. Last night, this is where we stayed, and this is a traditional Indian mud house, which there's not as many made these days because it's all made in concrete. However, this is an original one, and inside it's kind of a bit odd, but quite nice. The size of these stairs, they're huge. Padam Paradise. Really big steps. Guess what's in the middle of the hallway as I trip along the steps? Look at that, in the dining area. Just a basin and an old shower. How peculiar. And everybody hangs out here. So we slept fairly well. The night before was awful, hardly slept. But again, look at the surrounding, look behind me, look at these, you know, everywhere you look, it's mountains. We're kind of in this huge sort of flat section in between all these mountains. Absolutely awesome. The location is Padum, which is the capital of the Zanskar Valley. Looking forward to today's ride. We're going to go to some sort of a lake and a monastery, I think. So, yeah, it's going to be great. Morning, quick one this time. We're just about to go. Wasn't much time. We stayed in this house. We rode about 235 kilometres yesterday, which is about little ones. About 235 kilometres, about 140 miles yesterday. It wasn't quite as exciting as the previous days, but still, you know, fantastic to see the land. Hi. Hey. Hello. Hey. But an awful lot of miles on huge stretches of roads where we were the only people on it. Still very exciting. Anyway, we're gonna have to run, so signing out. Today, leave a message from Leh. We motorcycled from Cargill to here yesterday, and they don't actually measure distance in kilometres. They measure it in time because it's so windy. But essentially, we rode about 250 kilometres yesterday. Very sort of open roads. Mainly full tarmac, so it was easy to ride. Lots of windy sort of switchbacks and sort of tight sections, but it was good fun, but quite exhausting after lots of the rest of the trip. Stopped it a few times at some interesting places to look at. And we arrived in Leh yesterday. we're at an altitude of 3,500 meters, and you kind of get breathless just walking up the stairs. So it's quite an interesting sort of phenomenon. All the crisp packets are all inflated like rugby balls. There's Paul chilling in the background. Yeah, we've got a rest day today, which is going to be really welcome. Actually, we initially thought that we wouldn't need it, but here we are, sort of really quite pleased that we can stop for a day. And then tomorrow we're going to be hitting this extremely high mountain pass. Used to be the highest in the world. We wanted to do the highest mountain pass, but with the recent troubles with Pakistan and India, there was a high likelihood we wouldn't be able to. And also you've got to kind of acclimatise at different heights. So you'd have to stay one night sort of halfway up there to acclimatise, and then ride up and then go down to that place and stay there to acclimatise and then come down again, because of the big change in altitude. Yeah, holiday's still absolutely fantastic. We left London a week ago. Today's Saturday. We left London a week ago. So yeah, got one more week. 3 more full days of riding motorbike. It's still going to be fascinating exploring Delhi and stuff when we get back. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for today. So yesterday I was unable to send any sort of update. The Wi-Fi here seems to be really intermittent. We actually paid about 37 quid for internet access through our own SIM cards, but as we're here in Leh still, they have a special rule which means that you have to only use SIM cards bought in Leh. They won't actually connect any other network provider, so we can't use our phones, which we paid loads of money to use. And the Wi-Fi keeps dropping out, so it's a bit difficult. Never mind. So we got our guys sort of working on our other Himalayan bikes. They needed to, again, a bit like the SIM card. Here in Leh, they only allow rental bikes from rental companies in Leh. So we couldn't use our rental bikes from Manali. And again, it's kind of to support local businesses, which sounds pretty smart, actually. But nevertheless, we need to sort of swap bikes over. So there's a certain amount of work going on there. So those guys are sorting that out. But yeah, having a great time. Yesterday was chilled. We weren't riding. We were just sort of hanging out, relaxing, going to going shopping and bits and pieces. It's a nice place to be. This hotel is lovely, really sort of relaxed and chilled. So that's our hotel in the background there. It's that one with the that one in the centre of the shot now, and it's really comfortable. We're going to be here this evening as well, so it'd be nice to probably get some rest in. Tomorrow we're going to be going on very long tour, probably about 300 plus kilometres. Back down to Manali, so that's going to be quite an interesting one. I'm sure it's going to have a big sort of range of tarmac roads and off-road, mad loose sections. So yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, it's mad how close or how far we've gone through the holiday already. Time flies by. Anyway, signing out. We're just getting ready to head back to Jispa from Leh, and it's about more than 300 kilometres, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be a quick one this morning. Yesterday we had a whiz up to the top of the mountain on the highest mountain pass, or certainly was the highest mountain pass in the world. We made it to the top of the Kardungla Pass, which is kind of like the top of the world, 6,000 feet up here. It's kind of breathtaking, and from two perspectives. But yeah, you really lose your breath up here. It's mad. Yeah, 6,000 feet, I think. But it's pretty incredible. Lots of people here, you can see in the background. Loads of people on bikes. Very cool. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. We also went to a couple of temples. We're at the top of a really old monastery, an old castle back from about the 15th or 16th century, right at the top of Leh. And you can see right down. So we're probably about 4,000 meters here where we are. Still fairly difficult to breathe, but blooming awesome. Anyway, everybody's getting ready. I'm going to have to hop on the bike. Bye. That's it. Nice. Oh, good. And the little ones. Oh. This one looks so. This one on your left looks like she hasn't had any at all.
Chris, can you pick one up for this one?
Is there any more there?
Yeah.
Can you take a piece for this dog? Yeah. Come on. Just chuck it to her. Yeah, she'd like that. Well done. Good man. We're back in Jispa at the same place we stayed a few days ago. Yesterday was so exciting. We rode over 300 kilometers, and we didn't think we'd be able to better the riding experience from last Wednesday, but I tell you, yesterday was unbelievable. We had everything from going from in the valleys being absolutely blisteringly hot, right the way through to snow corridors at the top of the mountain. We had, really speedy sections with all sorts of crazy, corners. Overtaken by these, or trying to get past these huge Indian lorries as they go whizzing past up and down the mountain. Oh my gosh, it's just been incredible. We're quite sad that today's going to be our last motorbiking day, but I'll sort of fill you in on that tomorrow once it's happened. Yeah, it's just been absolutely extraordinary. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of all the other things that happened yesterday, but I'm just going to have to patch this video in with a bunch of individual incidents. It's difficult to put it all into words. We're at a monastery just outside of Leh, and it's got, just on this wall here in front of me, you might be able to see all these little stones lined up either way. And every single one of these has been carved with an inscription of a mantra. I don't know if you can see that on there, but every single one has been meticulously carved with this mantra and placed here. If you look at there's thousands and thousands, the amount of work that would have gone into this, unbelievable. Wow. This pass here is incredible. We've just been passing some mad trucks and vehicles on the roads. It's been windy, it's been difficult, it's been amazing. Proper off-roading kind of stuff. Tricky, technical, but really great fun. And now we're standing at the end of this huge sort of precipice. It's incredible to see the end of the road. Look at this behind me. Down at the bottom there, you can see that those little zigzags going across the mountains. That's the old Silk Road, which is no longer used, but was originally one of the only roads between points which traders would travel. So that's quite fascinating in itself. Man, this is so cool. come. You alright? You okay? You alright? Good man, good man. Well done. Woo! Kind of fascinating. We're at Taglangla Pass, which used to be the second highest pass in the world. Now I think it's the 7th highest pass. So yeah, it's what's this, 17,482 feet. I don't know what that is in meters at the moment, but the ride up here was amazing. Man, just going through the snow and the slush and the water. Wow, it's so cool. Hello. All right? Yeah. We've just stopped off at this place, which is like a little restaurant in the middle of nowhere. There's a bunch of tents, and they've got like what looks like loads of sort of sofas, or not sofas, like beds, mattresses, you might say. Really cool, really nice. And we just ordered some food, so looking forward to that. It's nice to sort of see. So you've got some. Yeah, excellent. Very organised. And you've got a good pan there. Yeah. Oh, lovely. Fantastic. Anyway, looking forward to our ride today. Fill you in later. So we travelled back from Jispa to Manali yesterday. And we thought it was going to be a fairly easy ride, but actually it was really good fun. Traffic was just crazy. We went whizzing through and squeezing through, but I suppose we got London traffic experience, so it was kind of manageable. Stopped at the Lahore Valley, also called the Valley of Glaciers, and it's pretty incredible. Really green in comparison to lots of the other barren sort of environments we've been. So it's really, really lovely to see. But yeah, it's incredible. Look in the distance there, can you see? It's fantastic. As we go up and up and up and up, see the glaciers up the top there. Oh, there. Impressive, very impressive. But it kind of brings our motorcycling part of our journey to an end, which is kind of bittersweet. I mean, we're all pleased to be back safe and all in one piece. But there's no more riding, which is kind of sad. And we made it in one piece. Oh. Here they come. Quite funny, all of us have had a kind of cold and cough, but not like a virusy one, but just, we think it's down to the altitude that we're at. Yeah, this has been just such fun, and epic motorcycle tours that we went with. Organised such a good trip. Every day brought something new, and it's just been absolutely awesome. I expect I've said that word plenty of times during these vlogs, yeah, fantastic time. If you get the opportunity, give it a go. Guys, we made it. We made it. All in one piece. Fantastic. Very cool.
Well done.
We did it. Yeah. Excellent. So we started our trip in Manali, and then we rode up the mountain and then went through a huge tunnel, 10-kilometer tunnel. We then rode up the hill and turned right, and this brought us up to Jispa. That was our first night's stay. And then from Jispa we had a long journey all the way up this direction. Ooh, all the way up to Padum, where we stayed. That's our second day. From Padum, we travelled up to Kargil. So we kind of took this trek all the way up to Kargil, which is a long ride. We stayed there. And of course, these are different altitudes. And then from there, we travelled all the way down and across to Leh, which is there. From there, we had a day excursion up to the highest point, which is the Kardingla pass, and then came back down again. And although that looks really small, it was actually really exciting and sort of varied terrain, and it was definitely worth doing it. That was also the day that we went to temples and such. Really, really nice, fun place to be. So we stayed in Leh for about 3 nights. And then on our sort of second to last day, we rode back down to Jispa, and this was a really long journey, about 340 kilometers. It took us all the way back down to Jispa, and then our final leg, which was in the crazy traffic, brought us back down through the tunnel and brought us back down to Manali. Sorry about the reflections of the light, but there we go.